Alright, so Dragon's Dogma 2 has been out for some couple of days now. I had the better part of the weekend to dig around in the world and do some of the, introductory quests and get the big town, roam around the world and get a hang of all that. And this coming from the perspective of a guy who's also played some Dragon's Dogma 1, it's going to be something of a, first impressions and thoughts, comparisons, and a bit of, mumbling about the whole controversy about the whole negative review drama and all that. But first off, if you've played Dragon's Dogma 1, you will probably notice kind of, that cyclical pattern, the story to the narrative. You'll feel like you're retracing some threads of destiny all over again. It's natural. I think it's a good touch. It is also the basic premise for every Western fantasy RPG, open world RPG, let's say. But for what it is, I think you're getting the same vibe as you were getting the Dragon's Dogma 1, barring from the confusion that you got from Dragon's Dogma 1 because you've never played a game like that at the time of playing Dragon's Dogma 1 in 2010, whatever, when it released for the Xbox and PlayStation 3. Now, if you've played the first one, maybe you will be spared the confusion. But if not, you will be confused for like 20 hours, and then you will decide if you want to play the game further on or not. But let's just start from the beginning of my Conan experience into the game, and I think it started off pretty well because you kind of get that broken on the wheel type of introduction with you being a slave and hauling rocks and escaping from your perfumed dusky Stygian slave master. But needless to say, this is your first impression of the game, and this is where you will actually notice the first major issue, and it is the performance and the FPS drops right in the beginning, where you get to choose your character or make him or whatever in the cell with the other prisoners. There's a lot of NPCs, a lot of character models packed together, and this is where the game drops in performance. And if you're one of those people out there who, would try it for a couple of minutes or like for 1 hour or something, and then you would, get through all of that and would see that it's not performing all that good, and you would probably want a refund, right? It's just a natural thing. You would maybe not have the patience to wait for a patch or wait for a performance fix or whatever. And you might get annoyed by that. You might as well condemn the game that it's a bad game overall, and I completely understand that the first impressions are everything, and that first impression is complete garbage in that regard. Now, something I noticed right in the beginning before even Capcom acknowledged it is it might be a bit CPU intensive, and it reminded me of Deus Ex Mankind Divided. Back in the day when I played it, I had a bullshit computer. It was a weak processor, and it ran poorly because you've had a lot of flapping fabrics, coats hanging and tossed in the wind, and the beards and hair and all that. And the game was, as I read through articles and all that, CPU intensive, like a lot. And you had a lot of sliders and a lot of options in game where you could, disable all that processing, and you can, make characters a bit more static without, all the coats flapping in the wind and all that. And when I turned these off, the game ran perfectly, like, it was smooth and I could enjoy it. I also remember this is like a little too far out, but Gothic 3, it was a seamless open world, just like that game, I guess, and it was also CPU intensive. It also required you to have a good, better hard drive. Like back in the day, 2006, 2007, I think it released in 2007, but everyone was playing the game on old school hard drives, and that was a problem. If you had a better hard drive, or if you later on played the game on an SSD, it would perform better. Still, you need, all the patches afterwards and all that, and the micro stuttering was fixed only recently from communities. But again, it kind of reminds me about that. Graphical settings did little to no, like no effect on the overall performance. Just like here, you can crank up the graphics. Some of the graphics though options kind of crash the game, or at least for me. Some of the the dynamic resolution, well, if you try to fiddle around with these, you might get a game crash. But experiment all you want. Water looks like shit all the time, at least from what I've tried. I couldn't make it look good. It just looks like this kind of mm, stained glass effect kind of thing. I don't know. But anyway, I'm not a graphics freak and I don't care about FPS that much. I don't want to bother with an FPS counter because it would drive me crazy. It would drive me nuts if I'm looking at it all the time. I would just try to solve it. And I don't want to, I don't want to know. I just want to feel immersed into the game. And if it runs like complete garbage, then the immersion is going to be, poor. But it's not all that bad. And in the forests, I kind of, I don't feel any FPS drops in the forests when I'm fighting enemies, when I'm climbing trolls or whatever. There's a lot of shit going on screen, a lot of blurry mechanics and all that. It's, it doesn't matter that much for me. It's just a mess of, effects and all that. And I can see a bit of FPS drops here and there, but it's not something that would ruin my experience from the game. Again, I'm not an FPS freak. I've played years and years on poor hardware, and I've kind of lived through that. So graphics aren't everything for me, and this game doesn't offer the best graphics at all. I mean, it looks gorgeous when you look at the landscapes and all that, but I think we've seen better than that. Anyway, when I moved on to bigger hubs, let's say villages and settlements, like the first settlement, it's not even that big. You don't get all those NPCs crawling around. And I finally got to the capital or the big town, and I didn't notice what other people were talking about. Maybe I've already tweaked some of the performance settings that could affect that. I hadn't seen a patch. I don't know. I hadn't seen my Steam updating anything, but I can see right now that NPCs are kind of blurring out, and if you go near them, they kind of materialize. So maybe that's a way to lower the intensity on the processor. I don't know. It's not that bad for me in the big city. I don't know if there's something further on that people are talking about. I've yet to reach that place, so we'll see. But for now, I don't feel like the performance is a big issue for me. But there's also the thing that when I bought my streaming computer, I kind of compromised on the graphics card because I wasn't planning on playing on 4K or streaming on 4K because first my monitor was not that good, and then the internet where I live would probably not handle streaming and recording in 4K or whatever. And I kind of did my research, and maybe that is paying off right now. If that game is more CPU intensive, and I don't know, maybe I've did the right thing back then, and now I can play Dragon's Dogma better than some people. But no, this is just speculations. However, I completely understand that this is not a state in which a game should be released. Alright, so moving on to issue number 2, and that will have to be the cash shop. And first off, I want to say I live in Eastern Europe, and being fucked over is a daily thing here. However, that doesn't mean that you gotta suck it up and let it pass. I by no means imply that the cash shop was not a dick move. It was a dick move by all standards, and that the way that it was introduced makes it even worse. And I think that every human being out there who wants to buy a certain product must have a glimpse or a review or the knowledge of what am I receiving for the money that I'm giving. And you did not know that you're gonna be, treated with a fucking cash shop in the end. Well, bummer, you got a cash shop in that 70 euro slash dollar game. Take it as you will. But, for the time being, or at least for what I'm hearing from other reviews and from other content creators, most of the things that you could buy from the cash shop is just worthless. And here's a thought: are they treating us like idiots? I mean, are they just hoping that people are completely ignorant, or people are like completely lost that they would buy things that are actually worse than what you could find in the game for free, or that they kind of rely on that people would not get that far into the game and would play for a bit, and then they would wanna oh, I wanna change my character's face. Let's just buy that or something like. I don't know. I mean, it's a bit of an insult. I have no idea what was in their heads and what Capcom were thinking about that. It's just something that I can understand the performance. It's a technical thing. Oh, right. It's an engineering thing. Let's say it's something that might be as a result of a miscalculation. It might be a you know poor judgment, but this is an intentional fuck over. Or the people who have designed the cash shop have no idea how the game actually works or what you can get into the game, so they've designed some things that are incomplete. Discord with what I don't know. It's mesmerizing, but it is what it is. Some of the stuff that's in the stupid cash shop is just pointless. It has no like, for example, the key for the Gale, that you can buy a single use key, whereas in the game you can get a one that never breaks. What were they thinking? Okay, but let's just say, okay, ignore that. I mean, it is there somewhere out there, and you can live your life without it. You can meme the game without it. You can play without looking at the stupid cash shop. Just ignore it, suck it up. I mean, you don't have to, but for example, let's say we want to enjoy the game for old time's sake, and we want to experience it in different ways. Well, you cannot. You can't start over. For some reason, you only have one shot at building up a character, running through the world, and finishing it. And one might say this is the ultimate roguelike, right? I mean, if you just kill everyone in the game or something like that, and you can't resurrect them, well, you're stuck with that choice. I mean, it's on you, right? But also, there's that thing where you can, get stuck in a autosave death loop or something like that, where if you want to start over and start fresh, or you for some reason messed your game up, well, I don't know how you fix that. Actually, I haven't delved into that problem. I think there's a way to delete your save, start over, but it's a bloody travail, and it has something to do with the saves being on their server and all that. It's a poor design choice. I I think it should not be like that. It's really weird and confusing, and a lot of people will drop the game immediately if they encounter something like that. And needless to say, you've got the best character creator in the whole world. You've got, you've really overdone it with that. You're kind of leaps and bounds. You're light years from most other RPGs out there that let you customize your character, which in itself kind of dictates that people would want to, experiment with different setups, with different characters, with different, resonant pawn combinations, and it's just a plethora of opportunities out there which you cannot take advantage of because you cannot start a new character, you cannot start a new game, and this is sad. I mean, what, you have to own two copies of the game? What the? I mean, that's why you get piracy. That's why you get your game cracked. That's why you get, add to that your de novo bullshit, which I think should be a heresy and should be, people should be burned at the stake for that. I have no idea how they thought about it, and but so really hoping that we get to see an improvement on that front. I don't know how, but please do it. I want to make different runs on that game. I want to experiment with characters. Yeah. Also, yeah, you've got the option to change the appearance on your character, but it's not the same thing, man. I wanna start roleplay from the beginning. Let's say okay, I'm playing as Conan the Barbarian. Okay, so I want a different Arnold. I want to be the Terminator. I want to start as a Terminator Arnold, and I will kill every NPC out there who doesn't tell me where the fuck John Connor is. I want to do that run, but I would probably have to do it on a new game plus, and it's not the right way to do it. Anyway, enough of that. Now let's just get that out of our system and talk about how good the game is actually, and how sad that the game would be received poorly because of that. And I am personally enjoying right now. I had none of these issues actually affecting my game up to that point. I mean, I hadn't finished it. I want to start a new run. I hadn't had any severe performance issues, and I don't, have any intentions of wasting my breath over the stupid cash shop anymore. But the game is phenomenally good, and it's it's something that would feed a lot of memes and a lot of goofiness on YouTube and a lot of goofiness for the content creators. So that we can only be happy about that, right? It's been like a couple of days, and already people are posting all the all the strange interactions that they can do, all the weird shit that happens. And I think games like that come out once every, with the passing of the comet. What's it called? That passes every 800 years, whatever. I think these games are unique, and every now and then we get a treat like that, and we have to make the best out of it. So I think Dragon's Dogma 2 will be played a lot, and it's going to define a lot of things for the RPG genre in the future. And I can only be happy about that because I'm a big RPG fan, and I loved Dragon's Dogma 1. I will love that one unless I get a corrupted save half through the game or something like that. Then I will probably have to, rant about it a bit. But what can you do, hey? So far, I'm loving the overall experience from the game, the overall experience from exploring outside and encountering dangers that you gotta tackle, and encountering these, roaring ogres in the woods just rampaging through the trees and chasing you down, and you're like level 5, and what the hell, I'm gonna run from that. And then you go back and try to kill it. Just a unique experience that you don't often get in other RPGs. And I also love the small things. There's like these small little interactions that really make a difference. Like, for example, when you defeat an enemy, and when you walk towards your pawn and they just give a high five. It's just the little things, man. You know what I mean? There's a lot of detail built into the game. There's a lot of fan service, and I'm confused about that because on one part they've made your dream RPG, and they've kind of doubled down on everything that was great about the first game. And then there's your predatory monetization, the cash shop, and the performance issues. Again, the performance issues could be fixed. The cash shop, I don't know, maybe not. Capitalism's not gonna, get patched in a day. But again, I don't want to waste more breath on that. The game feels great for now. I do hope that it remains so. I will probably, do another review once I finish it. Here's to hoping that I enjoy almost all of it. Here's to hoping that we get more updates, that we get patches, that we get optimization updates. Also, I just want to point out, the character model that I made is not my own creation. It is from a guy that I saw on Reddit. I will link it down so that if anyone wants to remake that character, if it's not too late for you, if you've not started the game, then you can, follow that. Just see the sliders and all that in the screenshots. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. Hope you're enjoying the game because it deserves our love. I really wish that we could, be free to see past these issues and just enjoy a good run. So try not to get, ambushed at night. Sleep well, sleep tight, and see you next time.